You have a YouTube channel and your video editing just sucks. You're tired of seeing all these biggest creators having superior editing than yours. You want to replicate that. You hire someone on Fiverr, but you don't even know how to review these videos by yourself. Well, if this is the case, this video is for you. And no, I'm not some random guru trying to sell you a course, and I'm not gonna show anything related to Premiere Pro or After Effects on this video. This video is not gonna have any fancy editing. I'm just gonna show you 3 main techniques that I have used in my career to improve the video editing of my clients and produce more than 75 million views on the YouTube platform in the last 2 years. You see, some of the videos on the platform right now doesn't require editing, but in most of successful channels, obviously we have a complementary edit. If you think on video production, you're gonna have first strategy, ideation, you're gonna have a script writing, that is overall production and stories, and at the end, you're gonna have the video edits. The success on YouTube depends in 99% of cases of your strategy and your production. But obviously you wanna have some high edited videos, even you wanna have high edited videos in your funnel to fulfill your goals and reach more people. But how do we fix this? How do we improve this? Well, the first and most important technique is sound design. And even let's focus more on the whiteboard so you can understand all what is here.
Now, why sound design is important? Well, because it is the main driver of emotions. Think about it. When you hear one scene, let's put any one scene of whatever with one piano, you're gonna feel very, very bad. You're gonna feel that something darker is happening. Meanwhile, if you hear a rock sound, you're gonna feel any other different emotion that is not sad, that is not darkness. This is why sound design is so important, but this is not just music. In fact, music is just one of the layers we have on sound design. The first layer we have, and even you can see here a box, is just the dialogue. It's just the voiceover you're hearing right now. The second level is the music, and the third level and last one are just the sound effects. I'm not gonna get into too much detail in the sound effects, but basically you can add or quit different sounds depending on the style of videos you're editing. Example, if you're uploading talking head videos, you're gonna have whooshes, transitions, and also complementary sounds. Meanwhile, if you're editing more cinematic videos like, I don't know, brother, documentaries, probably you're gonna have more stuff like drones or just ambient sounds that you can use. So if we wanna really approach this, what we need to do is just integrate all these levels, all these 3 layers into one, and then create an immersive experience that is just a mix between those. So the viewer can just experience different changes in emotions, and we can improve viewer satisfaction. I know how to identify that one video edit is very bad. By the way, I'm not focused because I want this to be focused. So not a problem at all. But yeah, I know how to identify when a video edit is bad because I can hear the sounds and I can hear the levels. This is very important. The levels. And even here we have my recommendation. For the dialogue, you always need to improve the dialogue, the voiceover with one enhancer, with different effects. But the voiceover should be the main priority. The main thing you hear in your video is the voiceover. Then you'll have the music. Music is very complementary with story, that we're going to talk about story later, but basically music should be on average, depending on the song. If you're using lo-fi, obviously it's different, but in 99% of cases, the level on decibels of the music is between 15 and 25, minus 15 and minus 25 decibels. And on sound design, on sound effects, it is between minus 10 and minus 15 decibels, right? Levels is very important because, as I said, I know how to identify this because the levels are just around, the levels are just crazy. You can hear all this whoosh. when you have a camera movement. It's very annoying, I get it. And yeah, this is how to fix this. Try to copy those levels and try to give your editors a standard operations procedure and SOP where you have all this. For sound design, the dialogue should be as high as possible. My voice should be clear. You always need to try to improve my voice. Then for the music, minus 15, minus 25 decibels. For the sound effects, you should have minus 10, minus 15 decibels, depending on the sound. The next point we want to avoid is repetition, right? Repetition is very common. Let's say that we have one scene here, one camera movement. We have this scene as an animation, and then we want to make the transition to other scene. And a bad editor is gonna make is that he's gonna put a different sound effect for every one of these movements, right? And he's gonna use the same whoosh when he moves the camera. And also the whoosh is gonna be very loud. So it's gonna sound like whoosh, 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 whoosh. Always happens when you see a bad editor or a bad video editor. So what you need to avoid is repetition. What I mean with this is that if you have a camera movement, you should have at least, or constant camera movement, you should have at least 5 different whooshes that you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you begin to use the other one. Never use the same whoosh 2 times in a row or even 3 times in a row, because our brains are gonna identify this and we're gonna start seeing a repetition on the video. We're gonna click off. And the last one is quality, right? I always recommend all the editors, all the video editors I know, let me delete this. I always recommend only one software that is royalty free. And by the way, obviously, this video is not sponsored, but Arliss, right? Arliss is the best software you can have for sound design. Don't use Epidemic Sound. Don't try to rely on YouTube. Just buy Arliss. It's like $30 a month or something very, very cheap, even lower than that. And Arliss will just improve your music, your sound effects. You will have Netflix quality sound design if you start using this platform right away. Okay, right. So sound effects are very easy to get, but music. How to improve music? I've noticed as well that a lot of video editors just use, let's say we have a 10 minutes video, they're only gonna use, let's say, 2 songs, right? And they're gonna change the song only because it ended up, not because it needs to be changed. How we identify changes on the music? It all comes around the story. Storytelling is very important for improving our videos, but not just having great scripts, not just having a great structure. The editor should understand storytelling to identify these changes, not only in the music, but in the pacing and in the narrative. The best and most simpler storytelling advice I can give you is to start the video by a shocking fact or just by confirming the thumbnail. Right away, try to break down your information. Let's say that here we have 4 steps. So I'm gonna say in my video, I'm gonna explain you 4 steps, then establishing credibility, and you start right away before the first 30 seconds, right? So we have hook, we have the steps, and in the steps, we're gonna go right away into the visuals because all these points are connected. In the steps, we wanna introduce roadmaps. Visually, we wanna introduce roadmaps. So we do this, we have the hook, we have the steps. In the steps, we have a roadmap, let's say 4 steps. I'm gonna put 1, 2, 3, 4, all just blurred, or the words just blurred. And I can go over later. A roadmap is just an animation that I create that I can just go over later and reveal. And people, when they see this blurred, want to know the information that is inside. Is a very, very powerful trick to hook your viewers. But when you end up and you say, let's get right into the video, or you just finish your hook before your first 30 seconds, is when you should do the first music change. Now, we're going to go right away into the first step. And when we go into the second step, we're gonna make the same music change. Other technique that is very powerful on the visuals and just on the stories is just introduce different payoffs and different open loops. For example, I'm breaking down all those videos in 4 steps, but in every step I have different points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I have 3. Here I have 4. So what your video editor can do is just change the music when all this begins, and also when the next sub point is introduced. This is gonna be very, very related with the story. It's gonna avoid repetition, and it's gonna improve your videos overall. Another very important point, as I said, are the open loops and the payoffs. This is something you should introduce in your scripts, but your video editor should be able to develop, but your video editor should be able to identify this, because this is what's gonna affect the retention. You prefer to have a 60% retention or an 80% retention than a 20%. And what I see bad editors doing is that they don't identify those changes. You can make it easier by putting in your script those changes on narrative, but he needs to understand that he needs to play with the pacing. The pacing is just the flow of the video or the speed. Let's say on the hooks, you want to be faster. On every step introduction, you want to be fast, but then throughout the video, you should slow down. So your video is going to be like this chord, right? You introduce with very, very high pressure. Then you go into the steps with normal flow. Let's say changing. Here, you're going to change a lot. And then at the end, you finish with a very emotional editing, but you can lower down. And for improving the video editing of your videos, you should only understand when to make these changes of music and when to make these changes of pacing based in open loops and payoffs, and also in the structure of your script. But there's something very, very powerful in this storytelling, and it's just visual storytelling. I think that all these visuals and techniques should have an explanation and a why. You cannot put an animation, a random animation, because it looks good. You need to put this animation to explain something that I'm saying just in a better way. And that's why visual storytelling is so powerful. So here we're going to cover 4 points that actually I cover the most important one, that are the roadmaps, so you can improve your visuals in your overall videos. Let's talk about my favorite. And this is the one I see with most common and basic and back edits, is that they're using icons, right? They're using a lot of icons, and these are not the main icons you see on Iman Gatzi's videos that he was uploading before. These are just flat icons with random colors that just makes your editing so cheap. No matter how good your animations are, if you're using icons with different colors, it will look very, very bad. I know that it's very hard to identify what icons to use. Here I'm gonna put some samples of what icons you should use, but this is something that you should avoid, and instead you should focus yourself that when you make one visual, you look at animations, just complex motion graphics, or just your own icons. Your editor can change their icons in pretty amazing ways. They can use After Effects, they can use modeling techniques. It's very easy right now in 2024 to just not use icons. So please do me a favor and don't use icons. You're gonna see the examples on the screen of what you can use instead. Now, the last step here in the visuals is just to follow your brand. A lot of creators don't have a branding. A branding is just a document where you explain all this structure, techniques that I'm talking about, and where you also detail your favorite colors, your favorite font, and all the steps you take. For example, let's say that you have made 100 videos on the platform, and the ones that have more sales and more views are the ones where you say, I have made X amount of money on the intro, and you showcase a lot of screenshots of revenue that you have made with that same cash flow method. I don't know. Well, this is something you should grab. All this information, you should just grab it in one document and explain that to your editors, as well as what colors do you use, what things you like, what things you don't like, and all the fonts, or at least the main font you use for your channel. If you do this, if you do all this, you're gonna have a better editing than 99% of creators. But the last point doesn't need to have anything related to editing. And it's just improving your production quality. You see here, production. Now, I'm not the best to speak about production. In fact, my camera is a normal camera that I use, the microphone that I'm using right now. Even I have this microphone. I'm gonna put this right here. It's not gonna be focused. In terms of production, what I cannot say, this is my point of view, I cannot blame my editor to just not having, you didn't improve my audio, but yeah, your audio was from the camera. How it's gonna improve that? So invest money in your production. If you want high produced videos, invest money on this. Or just, obviously this depends in your niche, this depends in your goals on the platform. But if you're gonna blame your editor later for not improving your video, your visuals, your camera footage, or just your audio, invest money in your production. If you wanna produce videos like this, you can do this by one iPhone, by one device. It's very easy. iPhone have a great quality. I can even make these videos with my phone. very straightforward, very easy. Yeah, obviously, if you have a better production quality, you're gonna look more professional. Your videos are gonna have just a better feeling and just a bigger improvement. But just don't blame your editors; they don't have the fault to do this. Invest the money you can in your production. Just try to make good videos, and obviously, if you follow all this, it's gonna be great. We have edited videos with millions of views that have been recorded on iPhones that have killer edits, and it's because we all follow all these 3 main steps. But yeah, this is how you can improve the video editing of your channel. And if you need further help with your content, if you want to sign more deals, if you want to increase your revenue with the YouTube platform, I'm just gonna throw the link here in the description so you can book a call directly with me. What I do is to help coaches and agency owners to get between 30 and 100 leads every 120 days with our YouTube views formula. These are just all the systems that I have created in my career throughout all these 7 years that we can integrate directly in your channel and not only give you more qualified leads, but also give you more views and transform you into the authority of your niche in the YouTube platform. If you're interested, just book a call with me in the first link in the description. We're gonna help you achieve all your goals together.